What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have Unprocessed. Yes, indeed, how about that? Unprocessed making their debut on the channel. This comes as a request from Eduardo Alves, and Eduardo wanted to see me react to this song by Unprocessed called Abandoned. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Long Branch Records, okay? And the video has 1.9 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Unprocessed, abandoned, official video. Wah, wah, wah. I'm not saying it's going to get blocked. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is whenever we use an official video, the odds, the chances of the video getting blocked are slightly higher. That's all I'm saying. So if this does get blocked, don't be totally surprised, okay? All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Okay. So far so good. So far so good. I like the intro. The intro was nice. I really can appreciate his use of subdivisions on those chunks. It's not a full chord. He's muting the strings and just, you know, he's just dragging the pick across the strings without letting the strings resonate or play an actual note. It's just, you know, it's the chicka 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 chicka. We call those chunks. He's really getting some great subdivisions on those chunks. I mean, he's going to like, if the tempo's here, 1, 2, 3, 4, those are 8s. It would be 16s if the tempo's there, but I think here's the tempo. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let me, before I put my foot in my mouth, let me. Okay. So here's the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's tempo, right? So he's 16th to sextuplet. Wow. 16th and sextuplet subdivisions on those chunks. That's cool. That's cool. It's tight. And that's the thing is, it sounds tight. It doesn't sound muddy or rushed or dragged, or it's right locked in, right on tempo. That's impressive. Good for him. Incorporating a couple little taps in there. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Could he have done without the taps? Maybe, but I don't know. I think putting the taps in there was the smart way to go. The instrumentation that I'm seeing is interesting. 3 guitars, bass, and drums, with one of the guitar players doing lead vocals. We should get a nice thick sound out of that. We should. With 3 guitar players, there's no reason not to get a good, thick, full sounding song out of this. So that I'm looking forward to that. The bass has got a great tone too, from what I can hear so far. It's got a lot of punch, which I love it. I love it when bass tones have a nice amount of punch. It does sound a little bright, just a little bright. Maybe turn down the highs just a tad to get rid of some of the brightness, but keep the punch. You know what I mean? So, anyway, let's keep going here.
Warmth under the horizon, giving signs of life to solid rising. I knew the world would come to be. I never thought it would complete me. The words I speak will feed disease. Fragments of old scriptures will shape new belief. Pretended tears past time, abandoned songs in such a place. Abandoned songs in such a place. Leaves all over me, glory to life. Flowers dancing so far.
So the bass player is playing with a pick? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I think I see a pick right there. So he's playing with a pick, but yet he's still getting the pop from, it looks like he's holding here. He's still able to get the pops from the middle and the ring and the pinky. Interesting. Yeah, that you won't be able to slap, unfortunately, but you can still get pops with the middle ring and pinky, sure. Huh. I wonder why. It's unusual. I'm trying to wrap my head around why. Because by limiting yourself with the thumb and the index finger to a pick, you can't slap. And you're taking one of the fingers out that's predominantly used for popping. So, I mean, look, it's working for him. Obviously, it's working for him. It's really unusual. I don't think I've ever seen a bass player do that before, where they will hold the pick and then use the middle ring and pinky to do all the popping while keeping the pick going. I don't think I've ever seen a bass player do that before. This might be the first time. It's interesting. It's confusing, but it's interesting. Look, he's making it work for him, so I can't knock him. I mean, would I ever do that? No, but I mean, look, if he can make it work, more power to him. Absolutely. We have a key change. Interesting. Okay. I mean, is it... It feels like this might be a bridge. I'm not hearing anybody soloing, so this is a bridge or a breakdown, but with a key change. Now, in bridges, that's not uncommon. Breakdowns, it's not unheard of, but it's a little more unusual. Getting the feeling this is a bridge, actually. Before a solo, which is even more interesting. Don't usually hear that either. Usually bridges would come after the solo, but that's okay. Look, there's no rules. Look, you want to put your bridge before the guitar solo? That's fine. If there even is a guitar solo. There may not even be a guitar solo in this. I don't know. But there's no rule that says you have to put the bridge after the solo section. You can put the bridge wherever you want. You don't even have to have a bridge. So, cool. It's so far so good. Let's keep it going.
It's such a shame I missed the rain that would have taken me far away. The last glance at those lines, I knew I could be moved. It's such a shame I missed the rain that would have taken me far away. The last glance at those lines, I knew that this age was doomed. This age was This age was
Okay. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. There were some things I really liked. There were some things I really dug, but there were some things I was also kind of like, I don't know if I feel this. I don't know. Let me think about this. I'll see you in the review. We'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Unprocessed with a tune called Abandoned. This was a request from Eduardo Alves. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give that an 8.1. Yep, 8.1. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay. But being 100% honest here, I didn't really dig the song a whole lot. There were a couple of things that happened within the song that I was really enjoying. When he went into the grit and growl, it got really heavy. I dug that. I dug the intro. Surprisingly, I dug the intro because the subdividing that he was doing on those chunks was really tight. Like, really, really tight. And I dug that. He created his own rhythmic pattern within the guitar while playing a melodic line. Not easy to do at all. So kudos to him. He did a fine job of it. For the most part, though, if I'm being honest, I feel like this song was it was trying to do too much all at once. Like, it was trying to identify itself as, not as a song, but as a band. I felt like they were trying to find their identity within this one song. They were switching between different types of styles of music throughout the entire song. And listen, it's cool that they did that, but at the same time, it would be a lot more appealing and a lot more pleasing to the ear if they had just found that one style and just stuck to it. Didn't matter what style it was. It could have been, you know, the easier style, like what they had at the beginning when they were like the intro, or like they had on that bridge where it was a little more relaxed, a little more that's what I'm looking for. Not so intense, a little more subdued, a little easier going. That would have been fine too. I would have been fine with that, but it felt like they kept searching and they kept looking for, wait, where are we? What is our style? What are we trying to accomplish here? That's how it felt like to me throughout the entire song. There was some fine musicianship going on here though. The drumming was tight. The drumming was really nice, not overplaying anywhere. I actually feel like he could have maybe done a little bit more on the fills. He could have stood out a little bit more, but he stayed a little more relaxed, a little more reserved. And I mean, look, if that's what he's trying to go for, then mission accomplished. But I do feel like maybe on some of those fills, he could have done a little bit more. It would not have taken away from anything that was happening with the song. It might have actually helped, you know, set up a little bit better each individual part. But what he played was just fine. It was solid. It was in time. It had a good feel to it. So I'm not knocking the drummer whatsoever. The bass playing, probably the highlight for me. First of all, I could hear him clear as a bell over 3 guitars, which was interesting because I don't always hear bass when there's just 2 guitars. This band has 3, and I could hear the bass coming through loud and clear. I loved that. I really like his tone too. I do think it's a little bright. I do think it's a little heavy on the highs, if I'm being honest. Like, turn the highs down maybe a half a step, like half a notch. Like, if you have your brights, if you have your highs at like an 8, turn down to like a 7.5, you know, maybe a 7, just to take a little bit of that brightness out. But the punch on the bass was so good. I love that punchy tone that he's got. It sounds really good. I also dug his technique, playing with the pick while being able to pop with the middle, the ring, and the pinky. That was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. A couple of times I saw him transition, put the pick in his mouth, hold it in his teeth while he was doing the slapping. You know, so I was like, okay, well, that's a good way to transition too. Kind of like Misa does in Bandmate, where she takes the pick and she hides it in her index finger, just holds it while she can slap and pop with her other fingers. This guy takes the pick and puts it in his mouth so he can pop and slap, but then he takes it out and he plays with the pick while popping. I don't think I've ever seen Misa do that. This is, I believe, the first time I've ever seen that, so that's really cool. Really, really cool. The 2 guitar players that were backing up the lead vocalist on his guitar, I see the point. I do see the point of having them there to help fill out the sound. I get it. It seems to be like one of them was kind of like playing like a melodic line, or maybe even a counter melodic line the entire time until they all came in unison on the heavy part when they were all strumming. But it seems like one of the guitar players was actually more like a utility guy, where he was playing, you know, just very, very sparsely. The other guitar player who was playing the ESP on the lead singer's left, it seems to be like he was doing more of the chord stuff, which is fine, you know, filling out the sound, which is just fine. And then the lead vocalist doing his guitar work, carrying, it felt to me like the lead melodic line, which felt good. It felt really good. It's an interesting instrumentation. It really is, having those 3 guitars and having them each do a separate job, which is fine. It's totally fine as long as they do have those moments where they do come together and they do all play in unison to get that ultra fat sound that you want to get from 3 guitars. Lastly, the vocals. I think vocally, I think that was probably my least favorite part of the whole song. Not that he did a bad job. He didn't do a bad job. Look, he did a fine job. Okay, he did. I'm just saying, out of everything in the throughout the song, I think the vocals were probably my least favorite part. They were well done. There were some parts that he did that, you know, got my attention, like when he went into the grit and gravel voice. That got my attention. I was like, whoa, okay. That's good. That's really cool that he's that diverse, and that's great. But getting back to the diversity within the song, I think it was a little overdone, if I'm being honest. He he was trying to do too many different techniques and show off too many different things that he could do. Now, that's not a knock against him. I get it. If you have one song that you're going to put out, you want to show off as much of your range as you possibly can, but not at the expense of song quality. And that's where I really think this came down to. Very talented musicians, all of them, clearly very well versed in their craft. I do feel like if they had just taken even just one of the different styles and taken it out, I think the song would have been far more effective, and we would be looking at about an 8.3 to an 8.4. Listen, it's still getting an 8.1, which by definition is still a great score. This was not a bad debut on the channel whatsoever. Trust me, I have seen far worse debuts than this on the channel, okay? So this is still getting 8.1. It's a great song, okay? It is a great song. I feel like if they had stayed a little more focused on, maybe, 2 or 3 different styles rather than trying to do 4 or 5, I feel like the song would have been far more effective. That's all. But it's still getting an 8.1, and that is where we're going to stay. 8.1, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.